What a piece of bacchanal. Boy, listener. I think it was a good thing that Vybz Kartel did not go to Trinidad. You know, they say everything happens for a reason, right? I'm just looking in hindsight and I'm thinking, what if Vybz Kartel had went to Trinidad, right? And got set up. And next thing you know, he is in a sting. He's arrested. He is under some type of investigation for money laundering or some kind of foolishness. This madness that's happening right now is coming straight out of Trinidad to you. Y'all know that Vybz Kartel was supposed to perform in Trinidad alongside Sizzla Kalonji and Molly Don, who sings Shake It to the Max, and a bunch of other people, right? It's supposed to be one big festival. Lots of money was paid to Vybz Kartel to make that appearance. And as we know or have been told, there were breaches of the contract, and because the contract was breached, Vybz Kartel decided to not honor the event, and he did not show up. Well, things have taken a turn. Things have taken quite an interesting turn. So, there is now a massive investigation underway. A probe has been launched into Vybz Kartel's pay, into the amount of money that he was paid. And we're talking about government agencies have launched a probe into the amount of money. Now you must understand this, right? This is a Caribbean island. So anytime you are able to fork out monies in the amount of hundreds of thousands of US dollars, you best believe that some agency is looking on and saying, is where the ass boy, is where they get so much money from. And all that money, I wonder if they're into other things. Well, Tanku looks into the artist $950,000 4x fee as fans demanded their money back after the concert fiasco. I already said it. I think the promoter went ahead with the concert because in the clause for the concert on the website, it says that the people can get their money back if the concert is cancelled. Therefore, they did not cancel the concert even though they knew that people like Sizzla Kalonji, Molly Don, Vybz Kartel would not be showing up. They still did not cancel that concert. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, they heard that Kartel wasn't coming 5 hours before the concert started. That was enough time. That was enough time to get on social media, to spread it through the news, the radio, television, however you do it, to the people. We apologize. We can't have this concert. Get your refund back. Let's do this event another time. But they had already collected all that money and they had already paid out a lot of money. And I feel like they were trying to recuperate some of the money that they had seemed like they had lost. So they give the people a 6 for a 9. They went and had the concert anyways. And then it was at the concert that a lot of the people found out Vybz Kartel was not going to be there. Y'all seen them bottles flying? Heineken bottle in the air sailing? Like shandy bottles in Sting back in the day when you couldn't perform good and them would have shelled down the stage with bottles. That's what was going on. So let's get into the details coming out of Trinidad. It says that finance minister, first of all, let me apologize for butchering these names because I'm about to butcher the mother's cunt out of these names right now. However, I hope you stick to the story and don't get so caught up on me butchering these names. Finance Minister Davendranath Tanku says that he is intrigued by the amount of foreign exchange that is being mentioned in relation to payment fees for artists involved in the One Caribbean Music Festival. This is the finance minister of the country, and has requested an investigation. Basically, he's saying where the hell they get so much money from, especially Vybz Kartel's fee was $1.35 million US dollars to come perform in Trinidad. I know. Remember when Kartel said, all in a prison, me I make millions, me I talk about US dollar, nigga. A lot of people was like, he ain't making no millions of US. The man in a prison. He might make money, yes, cause he's Kartel, but me not think he might make millions of US. When you see them rotted fees here for an appearance, huh? In a Caribbean country, you could only imagine how much he's commanding for these big shows he's doing in places like the UK and the USA. Now, this amount has gotten the finance minister of Trinidad on the edge of his seat. He say, I want an investigation into this Ross right now. This, even as the negative fallout from Adidja Vybz Kartel Palmer and other foreign acts pulls out of the event, continued. Right. According to the event organizers, Vybz Kartel received 950,000. Now listen now. According to them, this is not money they are planning or were planning to pay this man. This is money that he already has received. The money in Kartel pocket already. 950,000 US dollars. According to the organizers of the event, Vybz Kartel received 950,000 US dollars of a contractually obligated 1.3 million US dollars before his decision to pull out of the concert due to their failure to meet the contractual agreements. Kartel's Jamaican fellow countryman, Sizzla Kalonji, then you had Malidan, and Russian. Russian, of course, is, pardon me sneeze, and I ain't editing that out either. We're going. Russian, Vybz Kartel, all right. Well-known Ghanaian American singer Malidan also pulled out of the event for similar contractual issues. Now, before I go any further into these details, I think that the promoter of this event needs to be investigated. Sizzla Kalonji pulled out of this event due to contractual issues. Kartel pulled out of this event due to contractual issues. Ghanaian American singer Mali pulled out of this due to contractual issues. Everybody can pull out due to contractual issues just so. Something is going on with the promoter of this event or the people who put this event together. So, contacted yesterday for a moment on the issue of the organizers being unable to secure the US currency to complete payment to Vybz Kartel, and the figure being said, the figure that is being passed around, due to the forex issues the country was experiencing. I think in Trinidad there they have something going on where if you're touching that amount of money has to go through certain levels first and certain verifications first. And because of the timing and the days in which they tried to do it, those were days when institutions who would make those verifications were closed. So Tanku said, I am also intrigued by the amount of foreign exchange that is being mentioned in the media reports as having been involved in this venture, and I expect in other similar ventures as well. I have requested that the Ministry of Finance to investigate and report on the very question that you raised. He also said, just to be clear, this is a fact-finding effort. You already know what that means. They want to know where that money come from, where so much money is being generated from. Our Prime Minister and government is fully supportive of private sector development of foreign exchange generators, including the commercialization of the music and entertainment industry towards greater contributions to our country's gross domestic product. We will share the results of this inquiry when we get it. Well, and while there was no report of any financial impropriety, Acting Police Commissioner Junior Benjamin believes that the matter warrants an investigation also, particularly given the fact that one of the main promoters has a pending criminal charge. All right, that spells it up for you, right? So much money is being passed around. Where all you get money to pay Cartel 1.35 million US dollars, and then you can afford Molly as well, and you can afford Sizzla as well. Sizzla ain't no small artist. You can afford all these big name artists, and just the paycheck for one of them is already sending us crazy. We can only imagine how much you paid the others. Molly has the most played song in the world at the moment, and it's been so for quite a few weeks or months now. So I know it was a big fee paid there too. We want to know where that money coming from, especially because one of the promoters that are involved in the event has a pending criminal charge. This is the police commissioner, and not the police commissioner is on it, and the finance minister is on it. Boy, Trinidad is not playing. He added then, right? He said, just to be clear, this is a fact-finding effort, meaning they're going to find out where these monies are coming from. And while there was no report of any financial impropriety, the Commissioner of Police says the promoter, one of them, has a pending criminal charge. It might be something of great concern. And that is something I would probably want to engage them, Financial Intelligence Bureau and Financial Intelligence Units, to see exactly what is our take on that matter as it relates to that situation. But I can't say that there's no report for us to work on in relation to that. Guess what? So Vybz Kartel had actually went to Trinidad and done the show, and all this discrepancy was not published, then there would be no investigation because the amount that he was getting paid would not have been made public. Therefore, Commissioner of Police in Trinidad and Finance Minister in Trinidad would not have known, or it would not have piqued their interest to look into how much money was being moved around through this concert. This could have also been like some money laundering thing. Use your brain. He added, he said, but nevertheless, there are things that, again, we are going to look at based on the information that we have received, in the media and other places. And again, I would engage the FIB to see if there's anything there for us to look at. Meanwhile, Justice Minister Wayne Serge gave a measured response when contacted yesterday. He said, given my 28 years in the criminal justice system, as well as my new role, I suggest that it might be best for you to direct your questions to the Commissioner of Police and the FIU for obvious reasons. I wouldn't want, by my answer, to be seen as either influencing the FIU or the FIB or alerting anyone who may be the subject of any possible probe. In other words, leave me out of this. This look like it could get serious. Go talk to the right and proper authorities. Saturday's event was reportedly sold out. Thousands of people in attendance bought their tickets, but they said that the attendance was poor even though the event was sold out, as many patrons did not even bother to attend due to Kartel's absence and instead demanded a refund. So, when they found out that Kartel wasn't coming, the word spread like wildfire. A lot of people decided, I ain't going over there if Kartel ain't gonna be there. So they wanted their money back instead. So even though they sold all those tickets, not many of the people who bought the tickets showed up. Videos of irate attendees venting their frustrations, flinging bottles, storming the stage, even dancing half naked made their way around social media yesterday as thousands tuned in to witness the unfolding debacle at the Queen's Park Savannah, Port of Spain. The organizers said that they are committed to addressing how the patrons will be reimbursed. That means they're going to look into how they can give these people back their money, or if they should give these people back their money, or how much of their money, what percentage should they get back. An official acknowledged that some form of compensation may be necessary and also noted that this will be discussed and finalized in the days to come. Ticket prices for this concert ranged from $670 to that was for general admission, $670, and the admission for VIP or VVIP then was $2,700. No, we're not talking about no damn Trinidad, we're talking American dollars. So in a video that was posted on his Instagram account on Saturday evening, Vybz Kartel apologized to the Trinidadian fans while also referring to past meetings with the promoter to discuss his appearance at the event. Kartel said despite missed deadlines and concerns over the payment of fees, he urged his manager TJ to show some flexibility. Give the promoter a chance. Give him a blight, cause me know him, in a bid to try to work with him so things could work out. TJ reluctantly gave you a blight. You missed deadline after deadline. Me beg of you. I said, TJ, give him a blight. Remember, you, the promoter, Kartel went on to say you wanted to keep the show during Carnival. And I tell you, you cannot do that. Don't mess with the culture. The people them want them Carnival time. It's not a good time to put on a Kartel show. He added that he left some degree of responsibility for the outcome, as he believed that not every promoter could handle a Vybz Kartel event, but still, he maintained that his respect for Trinidad and Tobago's government and for his people are intact, and he has no harsh feelings against the government of Trinidad, and he apologized to his fans. But to know that the promoter of this event was the one who frigged it up and breached the contract and repeatedly could not meet deadlines. Well, now we talk about foreign investors. According to media news houses investigation, the One Caribbean Music Festival was bankrolled by a United States of America based company who has operations in Trinidad and Tobago. Very interesting. The Guardian media viewed financial documents that are related to the initial talks about that concert coming into reality. That US-based company was approached by a local businessman who is friends with Vybz Kartel to invest in the music festival. They provided more than 5 million TT in funding. That's Trinidadian money. Trinidad and Tobago dollars, 5 million. With the agreement that it would receive more than 10 million in earnings. As claimed by the festival organizers, Vybz Kartel did receive around 900,000 US dollars over several payments. Those monies have gone into his pockets already. The payments were transferred directly to Mr. Palmer's account, they said. However, the final transfer of the funds to Mr. Palmer's accounts encountered some difficulty on Indian arrival day due to that being a major holiday and places not up and running to handle that money, the transactions. The US organization then sought desperately to work around the issue, eventually with the help of multiple business partners in the US. They managed to pool together the money that was owed to Vybz Kartel. The Jamaican was told that he just had to collect a check in Miami. But it is said that Vybz Kartel refused. I don't believe this part. They claim now that they put the money together even though all these business places were closed. They got a couple of friends together and they pooled the resources together and put it into a check, and all he had to do was pick that check up in Miami. That would have been the final payment, and he simply refused to do it. Still trying to make the deal work after that, the US-based company offered collateral in the form of 4 Trinidad and Tobago-based condominiums to Vybz Kartel. What the fuck? Yo, pardon my language. This is coming out of Trinidad News, Still trying to make the deal work. That US-based company offered collateral in the form of 4 Trinidad and Tobago based condominiums. Condos, apartments. What Cartel do with 4 condos or 4 apartments in a Trinidad when Trinidad act like they don't even, well, not Trinidad, Trinidad government act like they don't even want him there. Remember, it was Trinidad's prime minister that said she don't want Cartel coming to the country and getting on their radio, talking on their television, or speaking to their children. So what would he be doing? Investing in real estate or picking up real estate? Who would manage that for him there? So anyways, the offer was for the condos to be placed in Vybz Kartel's name until they could transfer the money that was owed to him on the Monday following the concert, because they would have to wait until the holidays were over and business days were back in place again. I sense a little bit of lie mixed with a little bit of truth here, right? I'm picking sense out of nonsense with this one. So they was going to put the 4 condos in Cartel name. So in the event that we weren't able to pay you, since you don't think we're going to pay you, if hold on to these condos then. And if we don't pay you, keep the condos. Like I said, it don't look like Cartel have any good relations with the leaders in Trinidad. So I don't think he would be wanting to have real estate there, right? Anyways, Cartel refused, they said. He wanted a single transfer of the funds. The offer was for the condos to be placed in his name, and he would hold on to the condos, paperwork, the ownership of them, until he get the money, and he would relinquish that and give them back their condos Monday. Cartel said, I just want my money in a one piece, boss. He wanted a single transfer of the funds. Now, it's unclear what terms were agreed to in the contract between Vybz Kartel and the local event company. Representative of the US-based company said that it will seek legal action for this collapsed deal, as it is now at risk of losing millions of dollars. It said that while it is now accepted that it will suffer a loss, it will try to recover as much money as possible from their local partner. In other words, That money that look like it gone in a cartel pocket, and they have now said, damn, that's a loss for us. We just lost 900 and something thousand US dollars in a one go. The man not even perform, and we can't get with money. Jacko Entertainment Limited, the event promoter, as listed on the One Caribbean Music Festival website, is Jacko Entertainment Limited. According to company registry documents, Jacko Entertainment Limited is a San Fernando-based entertainment, events, and promotions company. I don't know if that means San Fernando in Trinidad or San Fernando in the United States of America, California. I'm guessing in Trinidad. It was incorporated in 2015. Its two directors are O'Dane Anderson, which is an events promoter, and Petal Jones, which is a senior accountant. In August of 2020, Anderson, whose address is listed as the same address in the company registry, he was one of two men who were charged with the possession of $94.8 million worth of cannabis for trafficking after being arrested in Charleville. I wonder if Commissioner of Police and Finance Minister are saying that his drugs money is being laundered through this event. And had Cartel not frig up the contract, they would not have found out about it. So, looking at this then, it would mean that, yes, there's a discrepancy between the people who handled the promotions of the event and the artist Vybz Kartel. But as far as where that money comes from, that look like a Trinidad thing. Trinidad people, the government, are going to have to look into this individual. I will read that again. It's two directors that are attached to this company. They are listed as O'Dane Anderson, which is an events promoter, and Petal Jones, which is a senior accountant. And in August of 2020, Anderson, whose address is listed as the same address in the company's registry, was one of two men who were charged with possession of $94.8 million worth of cannabis for trafficking after being arrested in Charleville. Now, according to police reports, officers of the Central Intelligence Bureau, the Northern Division Gang Unit, and the Interagency Task Force IATF, with support from officers of the Customs and Excise Department and Port Security, intercepted a container at Colal Road, Charleville, in Chaguanes. The container reportedly left the port of Spain on the same day. On searching the container, officers found 958 boxes containing what officers believed to be some strong ganja, which weighed 947.64 kilograms. Guardian Media contacted Anderson and sent questions to other patrons, and they will be refunded, and what course will be taken against Vybz Kartel as well. Yesterday morning, Anderson said that he was meeting with his attorneys to see what, if there is any actions that can be taken against Vybz Kartel for pocketing that money and not performing. Very, very interesting story, my friend. This is another one. Just like that, you end up in the middle of a Netflix series, has everything to do with beautiful Caribbean island, a music festival, transfer of funds, money laundering, big drug bust, all kind of thing, all wrapped up in one, and an international recording artist, and a breach contract, and people wanting their refunds, and government entities being involved. One bag of something. Listen up. I don't know where this is going to go, but don't shoot the messenger. I'm just bringing the message. I got this one straight out of Trinidad, and I will wait to see what happens next, and then I will bring you the update. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning of this video though, I'm kind of glad that Vybz Kartel did not attend, because you know, I heard somebody say one time, book them and cook them. It's dangerous for some artists, because people will pay you and you think you're going to perform at a show, and when you get there, they only wanted you there so them can cook you, so them book you. I saw cook can be done in any ways, and I just hey, some people go do shows and end up get boxed up and gun butt and cornered by gunman, and have to beg for come out of it so they can make it back to where they come from and all kind of thing. I just sensed that bad vibes would have happened in Trinidad had Vybz Kartel went. And I'll tell you the truth though, I'm thinking if Vybz Kartel already got 950,000 and the contract was for 1.3 million, I think, like one of my subscribers said, SouFLo, I think it's easier, it's more palpable to say to the crowd, it was a breach of contract, why we did not show up. But in truth, sometimes people moving off instincts and it just feel like something not right. So here what? Because the contract already breached, we could have still honored it just so the fans could have something and did it for the fans, but something else is at play here. I think it's best we stay right where we're at. I'm kind of glad he did, because all this mix-up is coming out now, and I'm willing to bet that there will be more pretty soon. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.